I read a lot of articles. Yes, it's fair to say I read quite a lot of articles about everything and anything, from the sublime to the ridiculous. Now, I can honestly say I don't think I've read one that has actually made me physically wince. That is until today, and I want to share it all with you. I've covered this before in a recent video, a couple of weeks ago or whatever. I discussed the whole living longer thing and the various methods, the various scientific breakthroughs, the various theories that were floating around the ether about prolonging life, allowing people to live longer, possibly extending the lifespan into well over the 100. Let's say we're already at about 80, give or take. So pushing it forward past the 100, 120, there's all kinds of stuff floating around. But one thing I didn't know was floating around, well, until today, was a particular discovery made recently, which, among other interesting ideas, seems to have come around to the subject of prolonging life. Now, that's all well and good. So far so good, we're all on board, we're all loving it. But what is this idea, I hear you say, and what could possibly be the problem? Well, the problem is, especially for us lads, that what they've noticed, the boffins, is that in order to prolong life, you may have to get castrated.
You serious?
I kid you not. I kid you not. Now, where's this all going? Well, let's have a look. Let's jump on in here to Eureka Alert. And this is from the 6th of July, so it's pretty recent stuff. And the title of the article is Castration Delays DNA Aging. New research shows that castration of male sheep delays aging in DNA compared with intact males. And this is from the Allen Institute. Who are the Allen Institute? No idea, but they've got Institute in their title, so I figure they must know something. Can we dig up anything on the Allen Institute here? We've got a Twitter. All right, check them. Oh, there they are. The Allen Institute, open for science, they say. Open for science. Open for all kinds of scientific endeavours. Their spiel is the Allen Institute is committed to solving mysteries of bioscience, researching the unknown of human biology in the brain, the cell, and the immune system. They are based in Seattle. Fair enough. And, okay, they've got quite a few followers there. So that's who the Allen Institute is, and this is where this article seems to have sprung forth from. We've got a couple of people there. Yeah. Right, most of us, says the article, most of us are familiar with the fact that women live longer than men. I think we'd all accept that. But fellas, it's me. If we told you there was one thing that could be done to increase your lifespan, would you do it? I say again, does it involve castration? In a study published today in eLife, University of Otago, researchers along with... Where's Otago? No idea, but they've got a university, so can't be all bad. Researchers along with collaborators from the United States have shown that castration of male sheep delays aging of DNA compared to intact males.
Shocking.
I consider myself to be an intact male, and that's the way I'd like to stay Thank you very kindly. And that it also drives feminine characteristics of DNA and the chemical tags it holds, known as a DNA methylation. Alright, so I'm still not seeing any upsides here. You get the old hoo-hoo, and you also get a bit of feminine characteristics thrown in on top of it, just for good measure. Right, let's read on. Quote, both farmers and scientists have known for some time that castrated male sheep live on average much longer than their intact counterparts. However, this is the first time anyone has looked at DNA to see if it also ages slower. Close quote. Says first author of the study, University of Otago anatomy PhD student Victoria Sugru. Sugru? Where did I hear that name before? Sugru. Butty Sugru. Butty Sugru, he was some man. Yeah, good old Butty. Character back in the day. Might do a video about him sometime, Butty Sugru. Right, anyway, sorry, I'm getting sidetracked here, which is nothing new, says you. Let's read on. In order to do this, the researchers first had to generate an epigenetic clock from large numbers of sheep so they could measure DNA aging. So I figure they have some clock thingy that measures how fast your DNA gets old or ages or whatever. They then looked at the epigenetic clock of castrated and intact males and found their ticking rate completely different, meaning that the longer lives of castrated sheep or wethers, alright, wethers, as they are referred to by farmers, is reflected in their DNA. I didn't know they were called that. Alright, wethers. So it's not just like sunny and storm coming and rain due at the weekend. Wethers means something completely different to the farming fraternity, especially the sheep farming fraternity. Alright, you learn something new every day, and this channel is right here to help you with that. Let's go on. Underpinning this study is the rapid development of tools, or lack of tools in some cases, to study DNA aging. Recently, it has become possible to estimate the age of humans and other mammals using only DNA and epigenetic clocks. Yeah, well, I think that's, I think we all know that they're able to kind of age people and find out about their age, and they've got all these like bodies found in bogs that are thousands of years old, and they get a bit of DNA out of the body, like a tiny little incy-wincy bit, and they can basically see what the person had for breakfast that day and when they last went to the jacks. I think they can basically see everything with that. So DNA is a hell of a thing now that they've unlocked it and kind of got in there. Anyway, sorry. Right, underpinning this study is the rapid development. We got that bit, yeah. The tools, or lack of tools. The inventor of the epigenetic clock and study co-author, Professor Steve Horvath from the University of California in Los Angeles, explains, quote, we developed a way to measure biological age in a broad range of mammals. We have looked at over 200 species so far and discovered surprising commonality in which animals age, but the sheep study was unique in that it specifically isolated the effects of male hormones in aging. Well, I'm all ears for this, but I think I know where it's going. Dr. Tim Hoare, research team co-leader and senior lecturer at Otago's Department of Anatomy, says the study's findings provide new avenues to understand the mechanism of male accelerated aging. Okay, right. I'm still not buying it, by the way. I like the direction, but I'm not buying the methods. Quote, we found that males and females have very different patterns of DNA aging in sheep, and that despite being male, the castrates, wethers, had very feminine characteristics at specific DNA sites. So when you go and you can do the old, when you there's other things kind of spring forth from that. Let's just say they're not as butch as they might have been pre. Yeah, right. Interestingly, quote, those sites most affected by castration also bind to receptors of male hormones in humans at a much greater rate than we would expect by chance. This provides a clear link between testosterone and male hormones and sex-specific differences in DNA aging, Dr. Hoare says. Okay, I'm still not buying it, by the way. I mean, I'm reading it, and I'm, no.
No!
No, you see the intact sheep? I'm one of them. Yeah, okay, I'll probably die sooner, but still, I'll die intact. Right, now, to understand which tissues are strongly affected, goes on the article, by hormone levels, the researchers looked at the sex effects in mice. The mice, get it again. The mice are always in the front line, aren't they? Well, in this case, it was a sheep, but still, the mice. Yeah, you'll always find a mouse in there somewhere when they're getting into the new stuff, getting into the new technology. There's usually some lab somewhere with a load of mice in it, getting, experimented on. Where were we? Mice. Yeah, okay. In tissues where the male hormone receptors were found, e.g. skin, kidney and brain, large differences between the DNA patterns in males and females was observed. In contrast, tissues without male hormone receptor expression looked the same in males and females. So they're kind of finding some differences here. Most researchers, quote, most researchers use blood for measuring biological age, and we did this for sheep too. However, it was not blood but skin where we found sex-specific aging effects in the DNA of sheep. And this appeared to be also true for mice, where we have mouse or mice, whatever, where we had data from many tissues and in both males and females. So there's a big sample size there. They were looking at a lot of stuff because you have to do that in science to figure out what the hell is going on. These people know what they're at. In addition to stimulating further understanding about the role of male sex hormones and accelerating aging, the researchers hope their work will have wider implications. As the first epigenetic clock for sheep, it is possible this work will end up being used to help farmers determine which sheep are going to live longer and be more productive, or identify meat claiming to be succulent New Zealand lamb when it's really mutton. I think judging by all this spiel, I think we already know which sheep in the pen are going to live longer. It's the ones that have been tampered with. This work was funded by the University of Otago and some other lads and lassies, and it's all great. The funders had no role in the study design. I don't know if they wanted to have any role in it. They probably didn't care, probably writing it off against tax or something. Or the decision to submit the work for publication. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, we don't need any of that crap. Something to ponder. All right. Well, I'm up for a bit of pondering as much as the next man. So what have we got to ponder here? Shrek, the famous New Zealand weather. And I'm guessing they don't mean storm clouds there. Shrek. Who's Shrek? Apart from the old beloved character. It's good. I know it was for kids, but it's good now. You'd watch it. Arguably the most famous New Zealand sheep was Shrek. Okay, so there was a sheep Shrek as well. Alright. The Central Otago Merino, who evaded musterers for 6 years and consequently grew a 27 kilo fleece. Right, so basically he went on the lam, he went on the run, he must have jumped the fence, and he was out there for 6 years, living off the land. If he was a wether, I know what he wasn't doing for 6 years, but he was out there doing stuff. If not that, he was probably doing everything else. Well, he had more time in his hands and probably wasn't preoccupied with certain other things that a lot of males are.
Spoken like a true man.
Who are intact. Many times larger. He grew at 27. I think I've seen this. I saw this somewhere. I did. We got a picture of Shrek there, lads. Can we get a picture of Shrek? All right. Oh, there you go. Right. So that's Shrek there. Now I remember seeing this when it popped up at the time. He was out there on the run. He evaded his captors. They sought him here, they sought him there. He was like the Scarlet Pimpernel of sheep, modern day Scarlet Pimpernel. But he unfortunately had nobody to shave him, and hooves aren't good for that kind of thing. Gillette can't even help you there. So he grew this massive, big, huge, humongous, like wool. It was. Well, you can see it. It's kind of like that. Anyway, not the most good on a cold day, but not great for getting around. He certainly he wouldn't outrun many mammals with that. Sorry, where are we going with Shrek? Yeah, okay, so he grew this big 27 kilo fleece. Shrek's discovery and subsequent shearing came with great media interest. Well, even I saw it, so it must have been bandying around somewhere. National travel and even visits to offshore icebergs and the New Zealand Parliament. So, man, Shrek. So he, after they did eventually catch him, unlike the usual Scarlet Pimpernel types, they didn't just kind of hang him and flog him. He actually went on the celebrity circuit, visiting icebergs, and I don't know why you'd want to visit an iceberg, but I suppose, well, who knows? Other side of the world, I don't know what to do over there. So he basically went on the celebrity circuit. He was kind of giving talks and after dinner speeches, even got to the New Zealand Parliament, but I don't think he was elected. I think he was just probably visiting, and I'm sure he got a good reception, because not every day you get a celebrity sheep coming into the chamber. Right, so it has long been speculated, continues the article, let's not get too caught up in the whole Shrek celebrity thing, good luck to him. I'm not sure if he made any money out of it, but he certainly got around. It was long speculated that the secret to Shrek's mammoth fleece, and you saw the pictures, huge, and subsequent notoriety, was his cunning. He was a cunning sheep. Cunning ability to avoid capture, and the fact he could survive cold alpine winters by sheltering in caves. He wasn't slow, this Shrek. He might have lost the old, but he certainly wasn't slow upstairs, so it didn't affect him there. But less appreciated is the fact that Shrek was a castrated male. A wether, in technical terms. See, he was a wether. I know what that means now. It doesn't mean it was a rainy day. And ultimately lived to the grand age of 16. Okay, right, so he got to live to 16. By the time Shrek was caught, he was already 10. Roughly the maximum age of the most long-lived sheep on a commercial farm. Alright, didn't know that. So the sheep out there on the old farm, out the pen, getting rounded up by the dogs and all that, they basically 10 years and they're done. They're out of there. But Shrek here, he went on the lamb for 6 years, and he basically lived to be 16. So kind of half again. Now I know he was, he lost the old, but still in all, he lived. Yeah, I see how they could kind of come up with this. So he basically lived to 16. Most sheep lived to 10, and they reckon that was why he lived so long. It was at least part of Shrek's fame that he simply lived that long, so he was famous for even being old. That can happen too. Something which almost certainly wouldn't have happened if he was not castrated, says Dr. Hoare. I'm still not buying this. I look, I'm all for living longer. I'm all for them doing the science and living longer. I think they should look at every possible angle. Every possible nook and cranny. No stone should be left unturned in the search for us being able to live a bit longer and hang about the place a bit longer and do more stuff. I'm all for that. I'm all for that every day and twice on weekends. But, however, is that a price you're willing to pay? It's not a price I'm willing to pay. I think I'll just have to, unless they come up with some other plan, I'd just rather take a tablet. Alright? Can I come up with something like that? Here, take this. There's another 40 years. Happy holidays. No, but if it comes to the old, go in there, there's a lad with a some kind of a calipers tongue, and he'll sort you out. No, sorry. No. I'm not going to be a wether. I don't want to be a wether. I'm not with Shrek on that one. I know he became a celebrity. I know he done well out of it. He was up there probably doing the rounds with Rihanna and Cardi B and all those famous Hollywood glitterati, and then you had probably Shrek as well in amongst them. No, it's not worth it. Not worth it. I'm intact. I'd like to stay intact. Thanks very much. Don't mind living a bit longer, but if it comes to a choice between living a few years longer and keeping myself together, yeah, you know which side of the fence I'm going to fall on, and I am unanimous in that.